Hello and good day. Welcome to another episode of the Mitsubishi Electric Digital Solutions Learning. Today we have a big topic to be discussed by our APAC team led by Dr. Habib Rahman, Ms. Amanda Koh and Kun Sutipong. We will be discussing on Mitsubishi Electric's latest SCADA, the Genesis version 11. So let's kick it off with Amanda. Amanda, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, this is Amanda. Today I would like to introduce Genesis V11 and what's new in it. The first thing that you will notice here is that we call it Genesis V11. It's a new series and new family of the product as compared to the Genesis 64, or we will call here V10. Now, Genesis has been known for its complete set of advanced software tools for the automation market, and we have been at edge when we look into technology adoption of technology, as well as introducing new feature functions in the market. So many of the features we have been used or seen even in V10, I think many of the customer or system integrators have not fully utilized those or explore them in a way such as, for example, we have this MQTT publishing and subscription, and we have these web APIs, and many of the other built-in features there are. We are always on the front end and the edge in introducing these new technologies. However, the market adoption rate could be quite slow due to the utilization of them. Similarly, for V11, we are also seeing what's going to be coming in the market. So in the Genesis version 11, we have made a lot of changes, and some of the changes you will see will reflect in user interface and will reflect in feature functions. Some of the changes are in the background within the foundation itself for making product more secure, more flexible, and provide different architecture as well. Looking at the future roadmap, some of the changes we have made now will be used and build the further feature functions for the future roadmap and the coming as well. So, the first thing you see here, the state-of-art visualization, data-centric design. All we are talking about is how we connect to data source controllers, field instruments information, and bring all this data for processing in terms of real-time user interface, in terms of alarm management, in terms of data logging, analysis, trends. So all our effort is towards data-centric and data-centric design. When we look into our system architecture, I think it has been most flexible and adaptable by the customers in terms of how they want to scale up and how they want to deploy and deliver these products. Single system, multiple servers, front-end servers, redundant system, separating OPC servers, separating historians, separating reporting, and multimedia functionality. So it's been very flexible for the last many years, and the customers are very happy and confident using that kind of flexibility of the architecture. Universal connectivity. It is one of our strengths, as well as we can bring data from multiple sources into one single system, into one user interface, and that becomes transparent. What is the source of the information we bring data from? What is the source of database? We bring data from PLCs, controllers, OPCDA, UA, web APIs. We merge data from CSV files, MQTT, IoT. So the list will go on and go on. Modbus, SNMP, BANET. So that is one of the great strengths for us, is the universal connectivity. And we're still carrying on this tradition of enhancing and making more power to the universal connectivity. There are many power user features for the large and the bigger projects. It could be a small single system with 150 techs, or it could be 250,000 tech system with 100 users or 150 users. It's the same platform which is completely flexible to give us what we want and what the customer want. In V10, what we have already got a flexibility in terms of licensings. Customer were able to buy only GraphWorks or only the AlarmWorks or only single system. But now in V11, we made it more simple in terms of cutting down the number of model numbers, providing a different way of making licensing more simple and easy for everybody. So I'm going through some of them in the next slide. Here, Genesis V11 is capable of industrial digital platform that includes a powerful historian. So it's a big change now. Instead of just having Historian, Hyperhistorian Express, V11 fully includes the full functions of Hyperhistorian Enterprise. There will not be any limit to what feature functions you can use from that data historian. So all the performance calculations, all the logging you can do, aggregates everything you can do as you would do in a full-fledged, as you used to do in full-fledged Hyperhistorian Enterprise model, which was required for redundancy and calculation text. So that's a big change. Every license will have full-fledged data historian. Not just this, we have made changes to alarming section as well. So previous Alarm Book 64 and Alarm Book 64 loggers have been obsolete, and we have got what we used to call it now. In V10, we call it Hyper Alarms and Hyper Logger Alarm. In V11, we call it Alarm Logger, Alarm Server. They are fully functional with lots of capability. The reason is it's completely new design of processing and enabling larger scale and larger set of alarms per system. The front-end user experience, user interface, GraphWorks has been enhanced with a lot of HTML capability. There were a few gaps previously when we were doing the web HTML and thick client. So now we have almost completed our gaps. We have also provided new plugins for Mitsubishi Electric FA connector that can connect to Melfa robots and inverters. Redundancy is now enhanced, and you will see the configuration later on. The way it works has been completely rewritten. As I said, there's a lot of changes which you see on the front side, and probably these are things you can feel and see, but there are many changes which have happened behind the scene to enhance and improve the security and to comply with many of the security requirements of the modern world. And that is also building a foundation for the next secure, highly available SCADA system. A bigger change is that all our system edition, whether big or small, comes with unlimited client license. So there is no limit to the read-only or readable clients. So even the smaller system can have unlimited clients. We have introduced unlimited text as well. So there are some models with limited text count, but there are other bigger the bigger part of our edition will be unlimited text and unlimited clients. So this is a new look of the license monitor, which has been simplified, as you can see, showing what could be included in the addition of the license install. Right. Now over here, quick to deploy. So it is easy to install and deploy for V11. Behind the scene, we have also started to create up to the concept of creating those asset builder, bulk asset configurators, and we call it configuring through assets. So it's easy to design and develop and deploy. Our focus is mostly in the configuration in the backend. So once you have got your things configured in a proper way in the workbench and in the assets, there is minimal effort on the front end. So this display will be automatically generated with the help of some of the asset builder functions. Now what we are going to do is that we are creating one set of template that will never need to be changed, and all the changes we are going to do will be on the back end. For example, if you add new inverters, new robot, new asset, this display will automatically update, and you will never need to copy and paste and update those displays ever again. So the whole focus of the system integration was creating the display, moving this line, moving those lines, and setting those color that's gone now. So from efficiency, we are offering unlimited clients and unlimited license counts. We have changed the license provider technology. And so we have dropped the existing licensing schema. We have a new set of tools which are more robust, and we feel that they are not going to fail or corrupt with hardware issues or with VM issues, and moving those VM from one host to another host, and this kind of thing, so we have surpassed those kind of hurdles. Keeping in mind the modern world where we have got the cloud-based architecture, where we don't know how the host will be changed over a period of time, and so on and so forth. And same is for on-premise as well, that people, they change the host environment and move their VMs from one host to another for disasters recovery, as well as for other purpose. The same message as before here. It's the most data capable SCADA platform. And when we say most data capable means that we can collect the data, we can analyze the data, we can perform additional calculation normalize. So when I say normalize, that means once we have the data in the asset tree and we give our naming convention, and then it will become transparent on the front end where this data is coming from. So this data could be coming from multiple PLCs, multiple brands, multiple models, multiple locations, and then it becomes all transparent up front on the top. And that's how easy it is to manage and use, especially the word aliasings. So you can generally create those asset attributes and jump from one pump to another pump to another one at you without knowing it, without knowing where the data is coming from. So that's how we were putting things up to bring complex data source and device connected. Our historian, which used to be known as hyperhistorian, is now called data historian. So when you open up the Workbench configurator, you will not see hyperhistorian anymore. You will see data historian, and there is no express or standard enterprise. It's just one model, which has all the full-fledged capability of real-time expressions, historical calculations, aggregates, merging of data, so far and so on. As we continue from here, so V11 provides capability of importing data, merging the text, and you can create pair redundancies. You can distribute your data collectors with store and forward capability. So all those feature functions, as I said, which were in the full-fledged enterprise level historian, will be available in every system with the same option, with some options of pick and choose. So over here, you see that these are the built-in calculation functions which are available. Example, when we log data every 5 minutes, you can predefine the trigger link to calculate hourly totalization or daily or weekly or monthly totalization of values. You do not need to wait when the customer opens up or when the operator opens up the graphic page. They don't need to wait for having the totalized value on the fly, as it will be already pre-calculated. We used to call this merge works, but now we call it data importer. Data historian has an importer function where we can import CSV files and merge tag from one historian to another historian, and that is also possible in this data importer. Similarly here, some changes to alarm management. We have rewritten our alarming server as well as our historian, and that has helped us to expand the scope of many alarms we can process and manage within one instant. How fast we can do and what are the data types and what are the alarm types. So all these flexibilities and addition functions like prioritization, classification, date bands, all those things are already included inside here. And our alarm server is also compliant to ISA 18.2 and IEC 82682 for the monitoring and change management. And scalability from one single alarm to 1 million alarm and on multiple sites as well, so you can expand. And also similar to data historian, there is a concept of remote collectors. So our alarm historian can collect data from multiple alarm sites as well. And you can do the store and forward functionality just like the data historian. There is a larger scale or bigger change if you are using or if you're familiar with our Alarm Book 64. So there was a fixed set of alarm types like digital alarms, rate of change, limit alarm, or those kinds of things. But in this new alarm server, you can define your alarm types and create custom alarm type with advanced expression editor in the background. So you can build up your own logics, when to trigger the alarm and what are the conditions, and so you can meet your customer requirements and the project requirement as well. The ISA 18.2 compliance is required if, for example, when the alarm comes up, the operator may want to keep it on the site first. Say he will fix other things. He can put a message by saying, oh, please wait while I'm trying to fix it by other means. Or he can say this particular equipment is out of service, so ignore this alarm now. So he can suppress it for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. System can be fully integrated with the asset configuration and asset classes as well. So when you define a new meters, new pumps, new AHU, or trigger whatever motors you have got, even for example, robot, you can define their attribute, object properties, and you can define, say, oh, I want to create digital alarm or rate of change alarm or limit alarm. And also you want to say, I want to log this particular data and this kind of digital twin representation of with the bulk asset configurator, which we support throughout the asset builder. You can create all your asset management, and once this asset tree and hierarchy is created, it will be used automatically, generate the graphic display through using the concept of clone dynamics. So those words and terminology that I used so far, we hope that you can remember that we have these feature functions, and then you can acquire and learn about those, that how this clone dynamics will work. That means if I can configure for one asset, I keep on adding more asset, and my display will keep on showing me as I go along. If I delete the asset 3, it will automatically remove that for the asset from my graphic screen. So this feature did not happen before in earlier version, and you have to manually manage those things in the graphic or in the user interface. So we have standard digital alarm, limit, alarm rate of change, and these are completely compatible with around our previous V10. So when you import those projects from the previous version, you can understand and how to configure those as well. The complex alarm types are completely exposed here, available for you to customize. And there is no hidden or any black box there, so everything is available. You can customize, add more conditions. This is quite good for advanced users, especially for system integrators with complex data management, alarm management requirements. And so that opens up a scope that we can compete with larger process control scenario. Apart from data historian and alarm management, let's talk about the front-end user capability as well. So one of the biggest things we have done is that we have improved the desktop part as well as the HTML5 capability. And up till now, Web HMI was working as an IE compatible mode with the .NET controls, but with non-Microsoft browser and no IE compatibility, the only possibility was HTML5, and we have been supporting HTML5 in version 10 as well. However, there were some gaps, so we have covered most of these gaps into V11 now, especially building up a web edit mode kind of thing in the GraphWorks. So you can see and confirm that this control or this display or whatever you have designed is fully compatible with HTML5. And this is our web technology. There is no web HMI as such in terms of IE compatible. You can run it Edge, you can run it Chrome and other non-Microsoft browser as well. One of the biggest gaps was 3D capability in HTML5, which is now available. So all your 3D graphics which runs on desktop can run on HTML5, which include real-time rendering, animation parity across the client platforms now. We can do annotations, lighting. When we create like shadows or we are turning the objects, it will give you some reflections. So we can do material mapping, like when you put up a wall, we want to apply how the wall looks like, bricks, and so on and so forth. Or concrete material, and one of the best here is also the cloning. So for cloning features, we can add one object and in our asset, and we can add more. So if we have one wind turbine in asset, and as we have more in our asset tree, we will see that most of those will be automatically added. And the good thing is their connections will be according to the actual definition that we have done in the asset tree. So they will have individual connection to the PLC text as well. We can add annotations and also dynamic text and labels we were missing before in HTML5 3D experimenting in V10. Now we have beaten the experimental HTML5 in 3D, which was a kind of hidden for our team to investigate. But now it's open to everybody. So that's a big change. We can mix 2D and 3D objects as well as deliver them on desktop. So for web browser, now it was a bigger jump for us to fully compliance with HTML5. All the previous controls are available, like the trend control, alarm control, script tables, but we have we have also got a tree map control as well. it's quite good to be used like a data diagram. It shows what is the percentage contribution of that block of that particular item towards the whole chart. So instead of having a pie chart, we can have this kind of tree map control, and this box will shrink or grow as your totalized value, or the instance will be held. So this could be good for alarm management as well. So for example, it tells you which particular instrument or which particular asset is triggering more alarms. It could be energy utilization, total meter value, which area is during the downtime analysis, or machine downtime ability in the production. So these are quite good and interactive as well. We have a lot of enhancements behind the scene for trend viewer and tables. And one of the things which is new is integration to the user profiles. So now on the desktop, operators can create and select and upload their own trend profile as well. You can have one display, but you can have your choice based on the role. If the supervisor comes up, he can have his own analysis profile, and the operator can have his own, manager can have his own as well. So within one display, everybody can load different profiles and different way of doing the analysis as well. Usability of the platform is a priority, and so now new in-app help access has been expanded throughout the configurator. The goal is that for whatever you are doing within Genesis, you can easily reach out to access the resources such as videos, help documents, white papers, or other that you can assist you in your projects. So in the workbench, we have also integrated our online documentation and access to the knowledge base. If you want, you can also click on that and see if the software updates are available. You will apply those. You can log on to the community portal license, knowledge base articles, and this will help you. This is also available online or offline as well. So some systems which are offline, they do not want to be on the internet. They can have local help installed, but from time to time, they can click on update help also. On the universal connectivity, we do have Mitsubishi Electric FA connector that supports PLCs, safety PLCs, robots, inverters. For BACnet connectivity, we have added new stack BACnet SC, which is Secure Connect, and that provides one of the advanced security features that we are going to talk about later. The Asset Builder templates here allows for rapid deployment of application that compatible with Mitsubishi Electric equipment. So asset models and dashboard can be deployed with just a couple clicks to achieve the value added function. So what happened here is, first, you go to the FA connectors, you choose what is the equipment that you want to add, and then there is this asset builder that you can choose where to create the equipment list to which asset. And then when you do the generation, when you see the number 2, you actually will have database being generated into the workbench for all the asset information and also the graphics templates. So everything will be integrated together. So automatically, the few devices down from the PLC, robots, inverters will be communicating directly with the templates, with the graphics that's generated. So this is what is showing in this screen. Yeah, so this is some details that we show in the workbench. From the left side on the workbench, the FA connector, you created inverters, and then you choose, you import all the data as well, the I/O data, and then you do some app builder as well from here. So this is just an example. So if you take a look in our software, you download the software, you can practice on this. All right. Now, some industries that uses our Mitsubishi Electric HMI panel, or we call it GOT, they have been requesting that the display in the GOT can be the same, or rather the other way, can the SCADA display screen to be the same look as the GOT. So to satisfy this requirement, we have built in with these Genesis converters. So what you need to do is you just have to copy in all the GOT files from these converters. You browse them, you choose where to save the output location, and you do the conversion. So once converted, the files will be in GraphWorks format, which is a .gdfx format. Right. BADNet. Our friends who are focusing on building industry, so BADNet SC is a big thing, and that's good for marketing, especially in this cybersecurity. This BADNet secured connector can connect to classic BADNet device, as well as those devices which are supporting the secure connect as well. So the way it works is basically we exchange certificate between this provider and the device as well, or we create a username, password kind of thing. So when we are reading data, we can also exchange these certificates. And to go for more secure, we authenticate this information. There is a function for backup, restore, and reinitialization. And previously, many of people were asking if we do support multiple channels, which we were not that time. But now we can support multiple channels and multiple devices. So that's a big change. We do support trend log object as well. So our BANet is certified with BDL testing lab. Right. Many of customer or SI uses Iconic system for redundancy and in the high available redundant environment. If we have done that, you will see that we have to configure framework security, framework setting, and we have to configure and announce over primary, secondary, and historian primary. So up into 3 or 4 different places and licenses. So they are all scattered, but that's because the components were developed as we went along. Now in V11, all the information is brought into single set, single place, where we can define and we can monitor and we can easily create with one click of button. You can have your primary server, your secondary server, your redundancy. You can connect to multiple PLC and few instruments. What we have done is basically create a unified graph editor in the workbench, as you can see here, where you can drop your node pairs and you can monitor the set of data. The good thing about this one is that you do not need to look for what's the PC name once you search. There is a new broadcast feature in V11 that tells other V11 for information like, okay, I'm alive, I'm available, and here and there, right? Yeah, this is an example of the screen from Workbench where you can see this unified redundancy editor. Redundancy of this application is vital to robust mission-critical applications. So in V11, it has been designed with new unified configuration interface for all the modules. So this standard configuration allows for customization of the expression for failover, as well as define clusters and individualized redundancy of point managers. It represents a game changer for project deployments. And Iconic takes security very seriously. Here are a few of the major programs and initiatives that result from this focus. Highly secure HMI and SCADA covers the defense in depth. Iconic secure process security management. You can find that in the link that we show there. Behind the scene also, we have been improving our process of development and the security. We applied those things on our management as well as on secure development, as well as what we want to farm and share. Generally, we got IEC 62423, IEC 6243443-14-1, but we are also working with the -3-3, 4-3 as well, which are very different compliance requirements. Secure software requires holistic approach, and that means taking steps both during development as well as during deployment. So here are a few of the actions taken by Iconic's development to safeguard Iconic's products. So for some information on the internal process for security, you can go to the Iconic website to look for the security investment. There's a blog under the website, there's a resource, Iconic blog customer back covered by Iconic security investment link. So you can take a look at that website. So Iconic is also adapting security capabilities and within Genesis platform in order to offer more secure platform. So now in V11, this is reflected by new additions to the support for SAML2 and OIDC integration. As many organization IT departments are seeking for MFA, which is multi-factor authentication, and SSO, single sign-on integration to their deployments. So furthermore, extended encryption options for frameworks means that it is now quite simple to achieve robust security on even the quickest of the deployment. We have enhanced HTTPS security. So in some HTTP connections made from server to server support, HTTP lines of WebSocket and some of the TCP. So we have been using WebSocket Secure and many of the certificates as well. About installation, so we have simplified the installation workflow by introducing a more intuitive single-click installation process to enhance the overall user experience. We postpone the need for system reboots until all the installation has complete so as to reduce the downtime. And we include the MSI per product meanings to add independency in the product approach when installing, enabling more granular control over installation and updates. And for optimization and configuration, we remove the redundant dialogue such as window user dialog box. Services now are run under network service account by default, streamlining the permissions and reducing configuration complexity. We improve security database configuration by moving the security setup dialog to the workbench for centralized management. And we relocate the SQL Server connection dialog box to the configuration wizard to simplify the database setup as well. So installation was one of the challenges so far as we developed the product, and there were changes on the operating system side and changes on the security side. So there were changes to the SQL Server environment, OPC UA. There are so many components we were gathering together as we went along. So now, finally, we have generally gathered those and reassigned those, and we have optimized those from easy, convenient installation process. So it's one click and everything is installed without rebooting. Rebooting system many times. Now a major thing which has also taken place is that we are installing. We need to create a special account, files, our service will be running in the Windows network system. We need a specific user, we need to change a user password and those kind of things as you go along. Because in certain projects, certain IT policy, they want to change the username password every 30 days. And that means every time you need to use configure application service to update those. So now clicking on this, or a full system means install everything. Everything means alarm string, history reporting, breaching. You can also choose to have 2 servers, so you can have server-based tracking service application and the front-end client part of a separate PC, which is one mentioned in the groundworks. So when you go into the components, you can also rerun your installation, or you can pick and choose any of the component as well. And after the successful installation, if I start the setup again, I will have a choice of repairing, modifying, or uninstalling, and want to modify those another manual commander which says you already have these products, but these are missing, so you can actually put and check those again. Right, there is another feature which are enabled in Workbench is a system experience, and that is where we call it user analysis. So we have applied new option where we can say we collect and log some traceability and some data in terms of how customers use our system. Like how long we use alarm and when the last time the service was starting from. But of course, it is optional. You can also uncheck the share diagnosis and uncheck the share crash user data. We have enhanced the system health monitoring as well, so we can monitor the server licenses. We can drill down to each session and you can see what's the CPU usage, how much memory left, and what is the status, what is the load, and so forth. And so these parameters can be logged into the system as well for creating your weekly report for other administrator to figure out how stable your system is. And questions like, do we need to upscale the memory or the CPU? Can the system handle the load? Is our storage getting filled up? We have already reached 80%, so what's going to happen? So these are the decisions which you can make as you go along from administrating this change management in this point of view. Right. Yeah, this is what happened, I mentioned earlier on just now. We have a Genesis all-in-one, server installation only, client installation, or highly distributed system. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, Now the bigger question here is V11 for everyone? Okay. Should we go and ask every customer or Genesis to upgrade? I think the first thing we can do is to create a compatibility analysis tool. This analyze tools can be installed onto existing V10 system and run to generate report of what configuration may have difference or compatibility between V10 and V11 as a guidance on how to resolve this. So the goal is to help provide some peace of mind about the road ahead before undertaking an upgrade, ensuring the things can go smoothly. Right? Oh, that's all for me. Thank you for your time listening to this V11 introduction.
Hi everyone, here we are with another series of webinar for Genesis V11, and thanks Amanda for great introduction about new feature functions of Genesis version 11. I'm going to talk about the changes we have done towards licensing and how we can select some system within new licensing schema. In Genesis 11, some of those license changes include providing unlimited clients, unlimited number of alarms you can configure. And the data historian comes up with no restrictions. There is no express version, so you can have full-fledged of performance calculations. And similarly, you can define unlimited asset structures, and the other options which you had to purchase and pay before were reporting. Now you can have unlimited number of reports to configure. And previously, with bridging transactions, we were only limiting 5 within the license, and then you had to add additional transactions. But now you may use as many as transactions you want within the bridging. And further, unlimited tags, there is no restriction of the tags that you have to start with 1,500 tags or 5,000 tags. So all these restrictions have been taken away, and you can use as much as you want. Now, the purpose of these changes is that we see more and more clients being connected to the factories and to the facilities, and they would like to connect multiple systems, multiple apps. So we have considered those requirements and those future adoption at the larger scale. So we want your plant to be ready for what the changes are coming up in the near future as well. So we are a step ahead in making those changes. Apart from what the clients would benefit, we have also considered to make our partners and suppliers and system integrators with a simple way of selecting the license and projecting what they need, simplifying the pricing, reducing the complexity, and also integrating more towards Mitsubishi Electric hardware components as well. So we are adapting Mitsubishi factory automation connectors and enhancing and adding more and more of the Mitsubishi hardware connectivity. Unlimited usage in Genesis, as I said, tags, reports, bridging, historian. So it's wonderful to have unlimited, and not to mention your notification, CFS works, and many other features. Similarly, if you want to have fault detection, diagnostics, and analytics, so you can expand all those to unlimited sizing for your project as well. So this helps us promote and support our partners within the industry, from small system to the large enterprise plant level system. For understanding the new licensing models, let's look into some of the terms which we are going to use now. The first thing is we call it additions. So Genesis version 11 has got multiple editions of the licenses, and I will be explaining in next slide that what those additions would mean. Then we're going to use a term called base node. That's a single server license of any edition, bigger or smaller, large or small. So base node is the starting point for your additions, and then you can add additional nodes, additional systems. Those additional systems could be for extending the functionality, doing the load distribution, redundancy, adding front-end servers, separating your hyperhistorian, and so on and so forth. And the term system is combination of nodes, so multiple systems within one vicinity or one network would be called a system, where you have multiple servers and doing load balancing or scaling or adding number of clients or redundancy and so on. Let's look into this slide, and what I'm going to explain about is the addition. So if we look into Genesis, we have on the top row names of our new licensing additions. So we're going to call that Pure, Plus, Professional, Prime, and Platinum. So these are 5 different editions we are introducing. The first edition, we call it a Pure, is still tag-based system, but it comes with unlimited clients, reports, displays, alarms, historian, full historian. So it has all these ticks you can see. And the base node, which is the single server to start with, comes with multiple tag level systems, 75, 150, 500, and 1500. I will be explaining what is this slash mean. So that is the pure system, which is still for those small machine builders, single servers, small level factory floor kind of installation. So we still want to have that available for our customers. The big change is that all of those are unlimited clients. Moving on to the next edition, which is unlimited tags, no restrictions on the tags, and it comes with all those tick boxes for clients, alarms, displays, and professional is similarly unlimited, prime, and platinum. So all these 4 editions have no tags restriction, and they all come with same unlimited clients and feature functions. And I will be explaining what is the difference between those editions. So let me complete the pure edition first of all in terms of the tags. So 75 tags are the traditional OPC UA, OPC DA tags, and we are giving additional 75 for Mitsubishi PLC. So at no charge, you can connect to additional 75 tags of Mitsubishi PLC and can have actually in total 150 tags. But if you do not have another third-party PLC and you are not using any OPC UA DA connectivity, you may use 150 of Mitsubishi PLC tags. So basically, we are giving incentive to move on to Mitsubishi PLC and double size your system in the same price. So that helps you to understand what is pure and what are these slashes mean. So basically, pure tags, 1,500 tags or 1,500 tag means with Mitsubishi PLC, you can connect 3,000 tags. So that's the benefit. Let's see what are the restrictions. So pure is a single server. You cannot have any additional nodes. So you can't do networking and you can't do redundancy. While in other 4 editions, you may add additional node to establish redundancy among your servers. And additional nodes are priced at various additional charges. And then there is a restriction how many additional nodes you can grow and add for scalability within your system. So that's what we call it, a system. In Plus, you have only a base node and 1 additional node, while in Professional, you may have base node plus 4 and 9 in the Prime, and there are no restrictions on the Platinum edition. So I hope this establishes the base of the licensing model between Pure, Plus, Professional, and Prime and Platinum. Let's see what are the differences between the last four models or editions. Since not everybody would be using all the feature functions, so we have enabled some of these editions with a little bit higher price as base function for those additions, while we will be adding additional fee if you want to notify and automate. So what is notify and automate option means? If you want to do scheduling of your reports or bridging transactions, or if you want to automatically send SMS or alert, you would require this notify and automate function option on your Plus or Professional edition, while this option is built in to Prime and Platinum. Similarly, the base node is restricted for the 3D graphics. Not every customer is using 3D graphics, so we have removed that from the base node from Plus, but it is still part of Professional, Prime, and Platinum. So if you are buying the Professional edition, you don't need to worry about this option. Similarly, some of the features like MQTT or map control or bridging load balancing feature, those are optional into Plus, while those are part of the base license into the other three. When it comes to analysis like FDD, business intelligence BI server for historical elements, not for the real time, but for the historical SAN key diagrams or data diagrams, we made those optional for Plus and Professional, while those are included in Platinum. So if you go to the Platinum, then you don't need to worry about these options or add-ons. Similarly, infrastructure option is for reverse proxy or single sign-on or Microsoft ID integration, and the tunneling of OPC DA, which we used to do it through Gen Broker kind of thing. So that is our integration with SAML2. That is included in Platinum, while these are considered as add-on options in these three modules. While that option is not available in Pure, just to remind that Pure does not support 3D, doesn't have MQTT, it would not have BI server for data history and map control and all these other features which are not available. And we have also made one other option or change that you may export data and have your reports in PDF format or HTML format, and you can have your trending and you can export data from trending into CSV. But if you want to have the ReportWorks or BridgeWorks export data to CSV or export to another SQL, you would require this historical data exporter option, which is a small amount to be added once a system. You do not need to pay for every node. You will have one for system. And similarly, if you want to export data historian API or connect your data historian API with third party for import export of the data, then you would also add these additional options once per system as well. So having said that, so if we go with the Plus node, we can add 1 base plus 1, Professional base plus 4, Prime base plus 9. That means a 10 node system, and that is unlimited. What are the features included in the base node? So we have got a lot of features which we can list here. Unlimited data history, no restrictions. So you have performance calculations, you have got aggregation, you have got data merging, and whatever other features you had to have in standard and enterprise level. That means remote data collectors, and if you are adopting for redundancy additional nodes, you have the data synchronization among redundant nodes, customizable asserts, alarms, hyper alarm server, hyper alarm logger, built-in Modbus connectivity, BACnet, FA, SNMP, UA connectivity. The connectivity is there, but you need to have OPC UA servers are not included. So some of the devices already come with OPC UA server interface, so we do not need additional OPC servers. You can connect directly with that connectivity. BACnet OPC connectivity is there. Database connecting to SQL Server, Oracle, SAP databases are there. OPC UA companion specs consumption, extensibility toolkit, unlimited reports. So you can trigger those reports manually. But if you like, as a base node, if you like to schedule that to be report to be triggered at 5 o'clock every evening or at the end of the shift with a trigger, you would need the notify and automate option to be added in case of the plus, but in case other ones are included. Unlimited demand bridging transactions. So the bridging transactions are included as user interactions. You can push a button and run a transaction if as a part of base node. And if you have selected the option of automate and notify, then that would work as well. And I think the Prime and the Platinum editions also have this option anyway. Remote collector options for historical data. That's what I mentioned. Remote collection already there. Security, support for latest operating system, unified data manager, expression, registers, values. Those things are already there. Client sessions via any browser, number of clients, unlimited clients, HTML support. These are all MQTT, Sparkplug in the advanced. We can connect to those devices. Right now, we are focusing on Intel, but ARM processors would be available as a roadmap as well, and many other features, functions which are listed here, multi-touch, configurable asset history, symbol library, language switching, PowerShell. We have enhanced a lot of PowerShell script capability within BridgeWorks as well. So that's something which is worth exploring a little bit more. We are also focusing a lot on pre-built dashboards and what we call it ICO DSB templates as well. E-signature, audit trails, global aliasing, camera IP integration to the camera is still there. So there's a whole list of feature functions. Configure remote SQL database that you may have SQL Server on another node, and you can configure that to within the base node. Some additional notes on those additions. Tag limitation in pure addition. So that's where the tag counts are there. Pure addition nodes cannot talk to each other, as I mentioned, that you can't have two nodes and do Genesis communication. But if you want to have two systems or two machines on a plant floor, you can still use OPC UA communication between those nodes, but you can't have frameworks to frameworks, what we used to do in previous version. Tag sharing is not possible, and you cannot stack more tags or more additions onto the same server, like buying two of the 1500 tags to make it 3000 tag license. So we used to do that in previous versions, but that's not, you rather move on to next edition, which is plus, and remove this limit at all. And that will make more sense for your system. And I have explained that how these tags are counted. Still, those are active tags. If we count, if you use those, if you don't use those, we do not count. And once it's counted once. They are not counted as twice or thrice, but only if they are used in API options. And I've also explained how these tags can be used in Melco devices and other ones as well. Reporting, unlimited reports. You can have your reports as a dashboard, real-time historical data, charting, and with the base node, you can have a push button on your display where user can click and generate a report without notification option. If you have the notification option, then the reports can be scheduled, and you can include data sets, alarms, scheduling, event triggers. That's what the options you can do with the notification. Similarly, with the bridging, BridgeWorks, we used to call it, now it's bridging. That's unlimited transactions, and user may click on those push buttons to activate those transactions. And with Notify, those can be scheduled and those can be connected to event-based transactions. And with advanced options, you can do bridging load balancing. Bridging load balancing is that you have a lot of transactions to make, and now you can have two servers. And if one server is busy, not doing what it is supposed to do, then you can also engage the redundant server and have the load balancing and do the synchronization as well. Notify, let's see some of the options within Notify and automate system. As I said, that comes with your option for scheduling and notification, where you can trigger those options. Redundancy option is where you have your app server as a framework, data historian, alarm, client-side redundancy, security, context synchronization, hot switching, clusters, and you can create clusters, subclusters, OPC, UA, and there are a lot of other feature functions which support in redundancy. Advanced option to those additions of license, MQTT, 3D graphics, map control, data historian, importer, custom point manager, and if you want to do OPC UA complex objects and arrays, then you would also need the advanced option as well. Okay. There's more lists, like if you want to have MQTT JSON payloads, custom activity block, and a custom configuration app enable CRUD API as well. Okay. Analysis pack, fall detection, like engine, graphic components, BI server for historical elements, not for the real time. So those are already included in the base level. And then this is data access and exporter option as well. So that's which I explained. Infrastructure pack is if you want to enable reverse proxy. Reverse proxy is if you want to have your web server, front-end server outside the firewall, and all your application servers are within the firewall as well. Or you also have your data collector, remote data collector with a different firewall, and you have to do reverse proxy settings as well. So those are some advanced level kind of infrastructure nodes which you can add. Let's see with the little selection guide. How can you make a decision which node, which addition do you need? So starting from, we say that pick your addition. Which addition do you require? Do you need plus, professional, prime? Or you are good with the pure that say, okay, I just have very small system. I just need limited tags. So you can go for your number of tags. And the next level is what options do you require? And do you need everything? Or do you just need a couple of those? So you can also do a comparison. That's what I have seen. Sometimes it's more economical to have a professional edition if I have got a couple of these options instead of going into the plus edition and adding those options. So it is more, because professional edition comes with some of those built-in options. So that is how we can also do the comparison, which are more economical. Similarly, you may choose a standard support and premium support, and I'm going to explain what are the benefit of those, or what are the difference between those. Let's go with the comparison between unlimited tag and limited tags. So with unlimited, just to recap, plus professional, prime, platinum, I'm missing platinum here, options, advanced analysis, infrastructure, notify, some of those are included, support works, and then you have the tag limit, and then you can add those options as well. Okay. Within unlimited, we ask you the question, do you need high availability? And in that case, that's a redundancy. Do you need scaling into multiple nodes? How many multiple nodes you will see for future? You see that that system is good enough right now with the base node, but I may add another node. So plus could be good enough. But you're saying my system may expand into multiple plants, connectivity. So I would see 6 nodes or 9 nodes. Then you can choose those as number of nodes, or you want to go unlimited as corporate level infrastructure, or you have an airport, you have a large building, you have a campus, then you can go platinum as well. And then which options do you require from these add-ons? And as I said, that it may be also economical that we can choose an addition which comes with those options, and then it becomes more economical. And when it comes to support, you have standard and premier. And then do you need the phone support? Do you need 24/7? Do you want synchronized multiple contract for renewal dates? Do you want 1 year, 2 year support? Do you want to extend to the larger? So we can also help you to choose which support level do you require. So keep on keep these points in your mind, that when you choose those additions, do you need a single machine? Do you need a distributed system? What kind of large scale or scalability you require? Redundancy, if you are looking for, do you need to export data? How do you want? So these are some of the considerations which you have to do. Here are some examples which I would like to share. That this is our base node, for example, which has app servers, it has frameworks, assets, historian, point manager, OPC servers. And that would be good enough. But since we are giving unlimited clients now, people may want to extend the functionality to many, many users, or every users in the facility. So you may consider to have a separate web HMI server just to do the load balancing, as well as controlling who can connect, and then putting the firewall, for example. So you may need to have a base node and then one additional node. That means unlimited plus addition is okay with one additional node. So you have a 2-node system. And then if you want to add those options, you may add those options like 3D, data export, notify, automate, those kind of things. Let's look in another system where you have got a little bit of more requirements. You want to have a separate web HMI and reporting for IT. You want to have web HMI server, front-end server for your internal operational stations. And then you also have your remote data collectors. So if you notice here that we have a base node and 2 additional nodes, we are not charging for these remote data collectors as nodes. The OPC servers, you can connect those separately, install those separately anyway. So data collectors can be distributed freely on additional nodes. So this is a system with 3 nodes, 1, 2, 3, a total 3 nodes, base node plus 2 additional nodes. Now we can extend that same concept for redundancy. So you have a base node, and then you have one additional node for redundancy where you can replicate redundancy. And by the way, As Amanda has explained, we have enhanced and made the redundancy configuration very simple and easier as compared to our previous versions. Higher availability for complex systems. You want to extend the redundant system into 4 nodes. So we have got base node, additional node for app servers, and we want to have dedicated historian. So this could be a large historian system. For example, if you have 200,000 tags or 100,000 tag system, we advise you to separate those. So this is a system where we have one base node and 3 additional nodes, and obviously we can't use plus. We have to move on to other professional or platinum or other editions as well. So that's how the system architecture can be discussed. Now I would like you to see some of the demo for Genesis V11, and Sutipong has taken time to put up some system ready for us. I will invite Sutipong to take control. Thank you very much for attending this seminar. If you have questions, please do add those into the chat question boxes, and we will try to answer those. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Habib. For V11, you will have out-of-the-box template, GrabWorks Historian Explorer. As you can see, you can open this display with a web client or with a desktop client, and you can manipulate it as well. You can searching for the signal, for example. I'm searching for the size signal in the Hyperhistorian server, and you can specify the signal that you would like to monitor by click on the icon or right click and select monitor. You will have the list of the signal that you would like to monitor here, and you can change the view to show only the signal in the chart, or you can have the legend as well. You can export the data to CSV file, and you can click download, and you can see the data in data grid view in the right hand side. And if you would like to change the time range, you can select time range and change it, as well as the interval to set the time, the period of time, the interval, or you can select from the calendar. And you can have the configuration and save the configuration as well. For example, if I would like to save this configuration, I can save in a public area. Or if you have logged in into the display, for example, I have logged in this with my user and password, and he logged in. You can save this in your private here as the configuration name that you would like, and hit OK. Now you can open it, and as you can see, this is the configuration in your private area, and this is the configuration from the public area. And it is the new activity library for the BridgeWorks in V11. As you can see here, the command line activity here, and I can select the target type as start external process or execute command. For example, I would like to run the PowerShell, and this is the command. This command can create the text file with my content hello MEAP. This is a test. I can specify the directory to working and now testing. To run this, right click on the transaction and test transaction. And as you can see here, it will create a text file for you and the content. I can delete it and run it again. Here, we can run this transaction with the GrabWorks manually, calling this BridgeWorks and transaction name and the execute parameter and write value 1 to the parameter. You can run the transaction from the BridgeWorks with unlimited number, unlimited count of the BridgeWorks manually. And with the V11, now you can have the annotation in 3D view. As you can see now, you can insert an annotation, process point or gate into the 3D object. There is the new redundancy dashboard with the hot switching. As you can see here, I can create a cluster for the server. I have the option enable the hot switch between the framework server, and also I can have the expression calculate the online condition, the online status, and I can switch between the server from the dashboard. For example, I can make active for this server the PC6, The current server is the PC5, and I can make PC6 to active. Now it's active. This is important for the user that require the hot switching feature between the server. And you can have more than 2 servers in the cluster.
Thank you for an informative demo on the Genesis version 11, Kun Sutipong. We have now come to the end of our webinar. Should you have any questions on today's topic, please leave them in the chat and our team will be glad to address them. Otherwise, thank you for your time and we will see you in the next episode of Mitsubishi Electric Iconics Digital Solutions Learning. Bye for now.